Healthcare debate. Things are heating up in the highest court in the land. Will they allow the controversial healthcare law to live?
Fresh food. Missing those yummy strawberries from your garden? Buy a piece of a farm to grow them for you.
And speeding bullet. Here's a place where you can go 85 miles per hour and experience 5Gs. And it's not a fighter jet. I'm Angela Montier.
And I'm Anna Hayes. It's Tuesday, March 27th, and in Utah, it's 12 o'clock.
From KBYU and the BYU Department of Communications. This is the award-winning 11 News at noon.
Utah is one of 26 states claiming that the expansion of Medicaid and healthcare insurance requirements are unconstitutional. The U.S. Supreme Court is holding three days of healthcare arguments, and Karen Kaifa shows us why things are really heating up in Washington.
After 2 years of anticipation, a blockbuster debate steps up to the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court has to do the right thing and rule this thing unconstitutional.
So I think this law is going to be upheld. It's going to help a lot of people and help our country, and that will be a great thing for our future.
The High Court on Monday opened 6 hours of arguments on President Obama's 2010 health care reform law. First up, whether the court should even be discussing this right now. If the law's individual mandate is found to amount to a tax, legal challenges would be halted until actual penalties are imposed in 2014.
This is not in the Internal Revenue Code, but for purposes of collection. And so why is this a tax?
Arguments amounted to about 90 minutes, but outside, opinions were voiced throughout the day. An appearance by Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum served as dramatic evidence of the high election year stakes.
President Obama did follow Mitt Romney's lead and adopted, as David Plouffe said yesterday, the blueprint for Obamacare, which was Romneycare.
Tuesday's arguments will focus on the overall question of the individual mandate, whether the government can constitutionally require Americans to buy a product like health insurance. The Supreme Court is not expected to issue a ruling until June. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
The Supreme Court hasn't spent this much time on one case in more than 45 years. And while the court has a conservative lean, legal scholars say the results are unpredictable. Inventors get patents on new ideas and new technologies, but should that include human genes? The Supreme Court's ruling says the answer is no. The High Court threw out a lower court's decision and overturned patents that belong to Myriad Genetics in Salt Lake City. The two genes in question are connected to an increased risk of breast and ovarian cancer.
Your next family barbecue could cost you more money. That's because the phrase pink slime is causing 3 beef plants to close down due to recent media attention. Beef Products Incorporated makes a beef filler called lean, finely textured beef that the media and public have nicknamed pink slime. A company official says the phrase is misleading and costing people hundreds of jobs.
We've been unfairly accused of making what the media has called pink slime, a catchphrase that has little resemblance to what we produce. 100% beef.
The employees will get full benefits and salary for the next 2 months.
Governor Herbert just signed a bill that got the media's attention last year, the Government Records Access and Management Act, or GRAMA. The revised bill defines what records are public and says when in doubt, agencies should just disclose the information. One thing defined as public in any communication by public officials and considered part of their job. If you're not paying attention while you're waiting at the train stop, the Utah Transit Authority might fine you. UTA says they're considering fining waiting passengers who are on their phones, listening to music, reading, or even grooming. UTA says these distractions have caused 8 pedestrian deaths in the last year. The fine would be $50.
Utah swore in their new Supreme Court Chief Justice yesterday. Matthew Durant graduated from BYU, received his law degree from Harvard, and joined the district court in 2000. Durant says it's a sacred call to be a judge, and he hopes to make decisions based on only the law and the facts. He'll officially start his term April 1st. Provo is struggling with their fiber optic network, iProvo. The legislature said Provo can't provide the service but had already bonded residents to pay for it. Now the city can't pay off the bonds. They hope someone will buy the network while Veracity continues to operate it, which is similar to a bank foreclosing on a home and letting tenants stay if they pay rent.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. Tasteful tagging. Graffiti is not welcomed on BYU campus, even if it spreads positive messages.
And airline adversity. We'll tell you why if you're flying out of Frankfurt, Germany, it could be a very long day. We'll be right back.
Graffiti is usually spray paint and tagging, but BYU's version of graffiti is a little more colorful and even inspirational. A rainbow of chalk covered the sidewalks on campus this morning with quotes from LDS general authorities. It's there to remind those walking by that General Conference is coming, and students have noticed.
I think it's a great way to uplift the students and keep our mind focused on the things that are important.
I really like conference, and I really am excited for it, and I like when other people are excited for it, so I think it's a really great effort to help people get psyched up for it.
The campus is private property and the messages were not approved, so now the grounds crew is working hard cleaning off these inspirational messages from the sidewalks, and since the graffiti is not waterproof, it doesn't take much to wash it away.
A U.S. soldier faces accusations, Indonesia protests against rising fuel prices, and a German airport cancels hundreds of flights. Here's your look at news from around the world. U.S. officials say that Staff Sergeant Robert Bales didn't sneak out of his outpost once, but twice in an alleged shooting rampage in Afghanistan. Officials say they believe Bales told fellow soldiers he had just killed military-age Afghan men as he snuck back into the post. Bales' attorney says that his client doesn't recall what happened that night. Protesters in Indonesia came out to show their disapproval towards a government-planned increase on fuel prices. Demonstrators gathered in the capital of Jakarta to sing anti-government chants, and they even broke a fence outside the country's parliament. The Indonesian government called in around 22,000 security officers to control the rallies. Airport employees are protesting, and hundreds of planes at Germany's busiest airport are sitting on the ground, empty. 95% of Frankfurt's airport staff is on strike over a pay dispute, leaving Europe's largest airline, Lufthansa, no choice but to cancel 400 of its flights. The airline says their passengers can reschedule for free or trade their tickets for railway vouchers. And that's your look at news from around the world. Anna?
Thanks, Angela. When 11 News at noon returns. Community crops don't have space for a garden? Well, that's no problem. We'll show you how you might be able to get someone to grow your crops for you. Carving keepsakes, wooden pens are holding special memories and displaying the work of a very talented BYU student.
And take a look at these daffodils. Early spring showers have brought some early April flowers. I'll have your 11 News weather when we return.
For most farmers, the planting season is just beginning, but one farm in Provo has been growing crops since last fall. 11 News reporter Corey Aldis is live in the newsroom, and Corey, this farm has battled through ice and snow to produce its crops.
Yeah, exactly. Anna, as you just mentioned, this farm, Lene Farm, grows not just during normal farming months, but they aim at creating local and fresh food in Utah County on a yearly basis.
Clinton Felstead is the creator of Lene Farm. From geothermal greenhouses to high tunnels, he used this past fall and winter to research and experiment with different techniques to find this year-long success.
So who knows where this one farm, what happens with it, but I think it'd be wonderful if the community was very, very involved.
The farm is using a concept called CSA, or community-supported agriculture. This allows the public to purchase a share of the farm, and in return, the owners will grow and deliver a bag of fresh produce to them on a weekly basis.
Every week, we will fill up that bag with fresh produce. We've structured the CSA around salad packs, so every week they will have fresh greens with complementing fruits and vegetables.
For those who can't afford to purchase a share of the farm, Felstead gives them a chance to come up and volunteer at the farm in exchange for a bag of food.
Thought that I've had is maybe if people would come and work and there was food provided for their labor, that would be a wonderful way to help people.
Felstead also created the Lene Foundation, and as the farm becomes profitable, he plans to use the profits to provide the community with gardening classes, seminars, and other projects this summer.
The farm works with local restaurant gurus and plans to continue to expand to others. For those who are interested in learning more about the farm and purchasing shares, you can visit their website at LeneFirm.com. Live in the newsroom, Corey Aldis, 11 News.
Sounds like a great idea to get healthy and nutritious food. Thanks, Corey. That was a pretty cold snow flurry yesterday. Are we going to get into spring now?
Yes, we are. Some warm weather is on the way, so look out for that. Taking a look outside right now, we can actually see it's a beautiful day. We have the sun shining in. We still have some of that snow clinging on the mountains. We have some cloud coverage, but look here, there's some flowers blooming. Spring is here, guys, so we can step outside. There's good weather on our way. Currently outside, it's 45 degrees. Humidity isn't too high, just a nice 57%, and our wind speed is calm. You might not even be able to really feel it if you're outside walking. Later on tonight, we will experience a drop in temperature. It'll only be a few degrees lower than it is right now, but it'll warm up as we get into the afternoon and later on in the day. So then it'll drop back down to 43 degrees. We'll get some more clouds for tonight. It'll be mostly cloudy. And our sunset is coming in just shy of 8 o'clock at 7:48 p.m. Not bad. Our days are getting longer. On our sat map, we can see our storm systems working here in the west. There's a storm hitting Nevada really hard right now, actually, which is why we're getting a lot of cloud coverage here in Utah, more in the east. This storm system, don't need to worry about it too much. It'll stay in the west at least for the next 5 days. Sunday might be a different story. We might get some more moisture, rain, some even snow. But right now, look out for nice warm weather. As our Utah highs, we have our lowest high up in Logan, 57. But as we move down into central Utah, Salt Lake, Provo, and Nephi, we're hitting mid-60s, not too bad. Down in southern Utah, Cedar City at 62 and a nice 71 in St. George. Their 5-day forecast is nice, nothing but sun. They'll get some cloud coverage in the beginning, 70, 75. Their temps keep on rising with the sun here, 79, and they'll round out Saturday with an 81 degrees. Not bad at all. Typical southern Utah weather, though. Up in northern Utah, we'll have the same trend. We'll still have good weather. We'll get more cloud coverage from that storm happening in Nevada. Start out Tuesday and Wednesday, 63, 67. We will take a dip on Thursday, but check out Friday and Saturday. We'll end out Saturday with a nice high of 77.
Ooh.
Not bad.
So despite our terrible cold day yesterday, warm weather still to come.
Yep, good news.
Yeah, thanks, Kika.
You're welcome.
So Bridget, like Kika said, warm weather is coming, and that makes me think of summer, which of course is Summer Olympics. So exciting.
Yes, very exciting. They are. They're coming up, and I'm excited. Next on sports, the 2012 Olympics are only 4 months away. The bobsled blast. Park City visitors can take their marks and experience their own Winter Olympics. BYU softball outfielder Delaney Willard earned Verizon WAC Hitter of the Week honors after hitting .444 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs last week. And Cougar baseball pitcher Mason Marshall picked up the Rawlings WCC Pitcher of the Week honor after earning his first collegiate win and a save last weekend. The freshman struck out 14 and is yet to allow an earned run in over 14 innings of work. And people around the world love to watch Olympic athletes compete for the gold, but 11 sports reporter Emmanuel Nah shows us how you can get a taste of Olympic action right here in Utah.
Well, it started out slow first 10 seconds, but quickly picked up speed, and it was really intense. It was unbelievable.
It's not every day that you get to run in an Olympic bobsled, and Park City is giving everyday people a chance to be Olympians, from the launch to the finish line.
People come from all over. They come from Australia to Germany to down the street.
The run was a star of the 2002 Olympic Games. It's one of the fastest bobsled tracks in the world, shooting the sled down at speeds close to 85 miles an hour and giving riders a chance to experience about 5 Gs of force.
We've had fighter pilots ride, and they get off and they're just speechless because it's nothing like they've ever felt before.
And point your toes.
Instructors do all they can to train riders on proper techniques, and a professional operates the driver's seat of the sled. But traveling at speeds that fast and with that much force has its dangers. So you have to be at least 16 years old with no back, neck, or heart conditions. The only protection they have in the sled is this helmet and each other. But 15 turns and 85 miles an hour later, everyone seems to think it was worth it.
Unbelievable. A ride of a lifetime. Unbelievable. It's much more than I ever thought it would be. Awesome. It's incredible.
The ride is less than a minute long and costs $200 per person, a price that most say is well worth it. With this week's Olympic leftover, Emmanuel Na, 11 News.
And if you're an even bigger daredevil and have a little more time on your hands, you can sign up for skeleton driving school to experience the bobsled track head.
Still to come on 11 News at noon. Wooden Wonders. A BYU student has a new twist on a common writing utensil, and people seem to be loving it.
If your pen had a story, what would it be? The history is important to one craftsman. 11 News reporter Caratillo shows us how one BYU student makes pens out of memories.
Behind his house and past the garage, Ben Strobel works to make lasting memories in an old snow cone shack.
Woodworking's been in my family for a few generations now, and it's always been an interest that we just see a tree and something sparks inside of us.
Ben makes pens that are meaningful to BYU. He showed me how to make a pen using wood from this walnut tree which fell down by the old Widstow building.
Probably 40, 50 generations of students that went to BYU passed through or under the shadow of this tree.
He chops it up with his chainsaw and cuts the wood down the grain.
So if this is the tree growing up, I want to cut it into slabs going down this way.
Ben looks out for cracks and chooses interesting parts of the tree to use for his creations. He then cuts the tree down again and again, down to little blocks like this. Holes drilled through the blocks become the inside of the pen. Brass tubes are slathered in glue and pushed inside. When the glue is dry, a barrel trimmer flattens both ends. Metal bushings placed on the ends show how thick the pen will be.
After all the sawing and drilling, it's time to get these pieces of wood down to actual pen size. I thought it looked like fun, so Ben let me do the turning.
It was fun, but Ben's a lot faster, so I let the expert take over. He measures the thickness down to the 1,000th of an inch. Then 3 kinds of sandpaper turn it silky smooth.
It's not bad, huh?
After all that, 4 different finishes bring out the color and shine.
It's gonna look good.
Then off come the bushings, leaving 2 halves of a pen. From that giant tree to just this. And I discovered Ben's trick. He puts the clip over the ugliest part of the pen. Twist it all together and there you have it. A pen and a memory. In Provo, Caratillo, 11 News.
Ben says making pens gives the trees and their stories new life. In addition to crafting college pens, Ben creates pieces using wood from all over the world. His pens are even in the hands of several famous people, including Tom Hanks.
That is so cool. I never realized it took so much process to get to that tiny pen.
Yeah, it's an interesting and unique hobby that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just fascinated that the wood block was like this big and it's very, very thin.
Becomes
but actually
pen.
is.
Yep,
very
really cool. Great story.
That's your 11 News for Tuesday, March 27th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching and have a great afternoon.